The medical college and the relationship they have with Milwaukee Ballet goes back 20 years when we first started providing care for the dancers. I myself have been involved in caring for the dancers. It's been my privilege to take care of those dancers for the last 18 years. When it became evident that, but perhaps in a better suited environment. And if you look at the basic mission of the Medical College of Wisconsin, besides excellence in clinical care for these remarkable athletes, there's also community service, and I can't think of a better way of serving this community than by keeping a wonderful dance company like the Milwaukee Ballet healthy so they can provide entertainment and beauty through their movement. When it became time to expand our relationship with the ballet, one option was to simply say, we're going to build a new building and we'll get as much money as we can together and we'll put this nice little but better clinic for the dancers. Or you could look at it another way and say, listen, if we have the community involved, if we open up this facility to the community, then it would make sense for the medical college then to put more money down and say, not only will we have a group of therapists that take care of the dancers, but also the general population. That then opens up opportunities for different types of programs. At our present sports center, we already have what we call performance enhancement programs, programs that allow you to excel at whatever activity you do. Well, this would be an opportunity, if you will, a health enhancement program where we would not only have sports medicine specialists, but primary care physicians that would look at active and healthy lifestyle with obviously the problems that occur with that active and healthy lifestyle with physical therapy and appropriate diagnostic testing, executive physicals, all those things, promoting wellness through movement, through healthy lifestyle. If the community has a need for more physicians in sports medicine, we'll provide that need. I mean, again, community service is a major part of our mission. But overall, like I said, this is really more of an opportunity than anything else. We don't have a specific agenda where we're trying to, encompass the entire greater Milwaukee region with our own sports medicine centers, but rather an opportunity to work with an organization that we know and love, and it provides us with all the different things we really want to do as an academic center.
The Harmony Initiative involves, at this point in time, a deep collaboration between Milwaukee Ballet and Ballet School, the Medical College of Wisconsin's Sports Medicine program, and the University of Wisconsin's Peck School of the Arts. And there will be, we believe, a fourth element, which will be what we're generally calling the Arts and Wellness Extension, as a way for the community to come in and engage in these programs as well. The needs that Bill has noted, the needs that I have noted, or that Dean Hobgood at the university will note, are all very similar. So you've got people who have all the right intentions coming together saying, we all have very, very similar needs, and we all can work together to accomplish those goals in a way that we can't individually. And I think that's really something Milwaukee's been asking for many, many years. And I think it's something we're ready to really begin working hard on and delivering in a way that can be a catalyst for economic development. It can be a catalyst for community engagement. So it can go beyond just our individual need, so that other community players can come in and help us move that forward. When we were considering putting the Harmony Initiative together, we certainly identified this physical need for space. We identified the need to look at a new operating model and to form stronger partnerships, et cetera. But we also believed all along that a partnership with Milwaukee Ballet, the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee's Peck School of the Arts, the Medical College, can serve as an economic catalyst for Milwaukee in some way. And I think Bill's comments earlier are a key example of that. There is something that the ballet provides this community, whether it is its school, its engagement with the art form, but also the community value it brings to the surrounding areas and opportunities, as Bill had mentioned before. So I think that's a key example of a catalytic outcome from looking at our particular need. How can we create something more sustainable, but also provide a business opportunity for someone that it really does become not only a win-win programmatically, but also a win-win from a business and sustainability standpoint. And that was something we talked about early on in this process. As we look at partners that we want to work with. Not only does there need to be a deep integration of program, not simply a co-residency of institutions under one roof, and we call it a collaboration, but something that was deeply integrated programmatically and something that can be a catalyst in downtown Milwaukee. And we left ourselves very open to what that could mean in meeting with city officials or meeting with Dr. Raasch and the leadership of the medical college. What could this really mean to some of the goals that you have? And if you remain open-minded about it, it is quite incredible about the impact it can have coming back on your institution. We're talking about things that we have never done together before in the last 20 years, but could be really, really incredible outcomes in the next 20 years that we can feed back into our own community first and foremost, but also the dance community as a whole.
I think by putting us in the same building, in the same location, with additional services, we can really expand upon what we already do with the Milwaukee Ballet, whether that simply be the patient care to a higher level, whether it be research. All these things are important to us, and then when you bring the community into it again, I mean, what better example do you have to inspire someone to rehab hard after a surgery than to see the dancer next to them in what they do and how hard they work? I think that's a remarkable connection that can be made between someone just coming in for a sprained ankle and to see what the dancers do.
You're talking about 3 established, long-standing institutions in Milwaukee: Milwaukee Ballet, the Medical College, and the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee and the Peck School of the Arts. And because they're established institutions, one might have the perception you bring those together, okay, they are meeting some strong individual needs within their own constituency, but how do you form that in a way that really invites the public to come and become a destination point? And that's going to come in a couple of different ways. It's going to come certainly by the general public coming and engaging in health and wellness and nutritional programs with the medical college. It's going to come in our school families and our outreach programs coming in to engage in dance and artistic programs with the ballet. It's going to come with the general public coming in to engage in performance programs that the Peck School of the Arts is demonstrating. It's going to come in through an extension program that we're going to form, which is going to take the best resources of each institution to allow anyone in the general public to come in and engage in artistic or movement or nutritional or Pilates or yoga programs. So it really does become this destination for the community as well as a destination for some of the very best athletes and artists from around the world that come here each and every year to perform and engage in creative works.
If you look at it from simply what I do as a sports medicine specialist, there's plenty of sports medicine clinics you can go through throughout the city. That's not the issue, but we're trying to take it to the next step, and we're using the ballet basically as a leverage point to say, listen, we not only can provide care for your ankle sprains, but we can do a little bit, go beyond that. We can look at trying to create a healthy living sort of system for that individual. We can look at wellness programs. We can look at nutritional programs. Basically, we're trying to improve the health of the community, and that's one of the major missions of the medical college. And this provides an opportunity in working with the dancers and working with the ballet and working with movement through health to do that.
And if you look at each of our institutions, one of the challenges that Milwaukee Ballet and Ballet School has, a challenge that the university's dance program has as well, is that because the university's dance program is really working within some ill-fitting spaces on their campus, we are, as much as we've enjoyed a wonderful 31-year relationship down here in Walker's Point, we're relatively unknown from a visibility standpoint, but yet we're one of the largest private ballet schools in the country. We're one of the largest professional ballet companies in the mid-major side of the country, but very few people know that. And when you begin to populate those programs together and the foot traffic that brings, all of our students that come through our doors every single day, the people who interact with the ballet every single day, the people who are going to interact with the Peck Schools program every single day. You now bring in the medical college and the foot traffic that comes from that. You now have a pretty compelling argument for the type of concentration of economic activity that's going to happen wherever we decide to site this particular program. And that is of tremendous interest to the city of Milwaukee and to developers who are looking to try to move certain elements forward in the city of Milwaukee. So we're very interested and excited to be learning more about what other developers in the city's ideas are, to see how does our particular program and agenda align with theirs, and seeing if we can do something collectively that, again, if it was simply Milwaukee Ballet trying to find, open studio space to rehearse in, that's a pretty simple sort of equation. That's a very different approach than what we're talking about here. And I think it might be a bit short-sighted to do that, because I think we all believe we have the type of impact and foot traffic and constituency that can really have a nice impact for the city itself and for the entire region. The first question that people have is, okay, this sounds interesting, where do you want to be? What does this building look like? They want to go immediately to the design of bricks and mortar and site, and certainly site, amenities, parking, transportation, safety, security, all the things that would go into a marketplace for a storefront institution would all go into a site selection process. And I think it's something that everyone immediately can understand. We've tried very hard to flip that process around a little bit, because the Harmony Initiative isn't so much about a site or a building, because we've had this fundamental belief that cultural institutions many times identify the need for a physical place, raise a lot of money, develop that and have that, and suddenly they're very building rich and cash poor. And what we've tried very hard is, how do we approach potential partners, look at programs, how do those programs deeply integrate with each other so that you get tremendous value out of those programs and really strengthen what you bring to the community as not only a program catalyst but an economic catalyst, and how do you create a business model that creates long-term sustainability. Let's do all the hard work of really looking at that so it becomes the strongest program possible. After that, we can then identify, okay, where and how does that fit within the plans that the city of Milwaukee has? How does that fit within the marketplace needs that the medical college has? How does that fit within the needs of our school families and what they need in regional access and amenities? All of those things are pretty well definable. But we want to make sure we get program integration and financial stability and a model around that right. And when we're comfortable with that, I think we have an argument that is incredibly compelling, that will allow us to kind of to raise the capital needed to create the bricks and mortar. But our intent is to get this part right, and then we will have, I'm sure, a tremendously creative team of architects and developers and other folks who will get around to determine how does this look, where does it see, is it sited, et cetera. So we've tried very hard to sort of flip that idea from the get-go.
Yeah, it's the partners, it's the programs that'll make this a success. And if hopefully it will then inspire the architects to create a building, an environment that will reflect what we're trying to accomplish.
And it's the creativity, it's the energy, it's the artists that reside within this space. It is the expertise that the medical college and its staff is bringing. It is that energy within it that is going to make this building become alive, and it's going to sing and it's going to dance. And from that, it should inspire where and what this will look like. That we have to get right first. And then we have to be able to demonstrate to the community, how are you going to sustain this and create a model that is far more sustainable than anything that we could try to do as a single nonprofit on our own. We want to be able to really leverage our visibility and our presence within Milwaukee. I know that's something the university and Dean Wade Hobgood at the Peck School is trying to accomplish as well. How do we raise that profile in Milwaukee? And that is, the Harmony Initiative as a brand is not intended to replace that. But certainly when we're able to communicate this long heritage of support that we have with the medical college and do it in a very public way, that increases our brand value a great deal, and something we can build on as the years go by. But I think they're two separate ideas. The Harmony Initiative is an initiative to move this idea forward, and then the next stage is going to be how do we message and use this to message our individual brands to a much, much broader region.
I think we have a very special opportunity here. We do have the right programs, we have the right individuals, we have the right organizations to make this happen. And so although it may be I think it's definitely doable here. As to whether others can do it, everything's got to fall into place.
And we never set out to say we're going to first and foremost create a new national model. I think Bill is exactly right. We have found that we have an immense amount of people coming together to have some tremendous skills and the right approach to how we might accomplish something that is going to impact Milwaukee and change how people look at program relationships and sustainability. What we are now hearing is that either from our colleagues on the national level and regionally here is that people are not seeing the model that we are approaching, and people are very interested as to how this is coming together because they do see it as becoming a new leader, us as new leaders in this area. So that gives us great encouragement that we're doing something incredibly special right here in Milwaukee that people within the medical field, the dance field, and the higher educational institutions are going to want to look at us and see what's working, what expertise can we lend to you to have this improve even further as we go along.
If we can make those individuals go from, boy, that's interesting, to, I wish we had that,
yeah,
then we've succeeded.
Yeah. The one thing we've said all along is that we don't want to be hasty about simply being within a space. Because if this was just about a space, I think you could tighten that timeline a great deal and accomplish that goal sooner. This is about a much bigger idea than a physical space. If it's worth doing right. We currently own our space. The university is performing on its, although ill-fitted, it's performing on its campus. We are working very well with the staff out at the medical college's campus. We don't have a need to leave this particular space because we're losing a lease or anything. There are certainly physical needs that are saying we need to leave this space. But we want to make sure we get this right. And that is, it's the right thing to do for us, it's the right thing to do for the entire community and all of our constituents. You know, we're fortunate to have some 1,200 young students in our school each and every year. And the reality is a very, very small portion of those students are going to go on to dance either at a higher education institution or even less as a professional dancer. All of these young students look up to these company dancers each and every day and are inspired by what they do and want desperately to be able to do that. The reality is so few of them do it, and you want to be able to provide them with tools that say if you want to do that and if you want to look at them that way, you need to also understand there's a proper way to look at nutrition, training, wellness for you as a whole person. And we have to be able to communicate those to all those young students. And there's an opportunity sitting in front of us to really expand on that idea. And so to take the extra time and the effort to do that in just this particular instance alone is really compelling. Then you go even further and look at how do you create a new model for sustainability within the nonprofit sector? And you tie the university's angle in, what we're doing with the medical college, and suddenly you're given this opportunity to completely change the conversation about sustainability, program relationships, and the impact that we can have in a community. And those opportunities I don't think come along very, very often. So we want to run very hard after that goal.
We are always trying to create, we're trying to improve, and this is just, you know, in simple words, it seems like fun and it looks like a wonderful opportunity to build something that I think would be of great benefit, not only to the ballet, but to the community at large.